What's good, everybody? It's your guy, JoJo Simmons, and welcome to the For Good podcast, where we focus on the good, never the bad, where we're measured on what we do and not what we have. And on today's episode, there's no guest, there's no interviews, it's just me, a segment that I like to call Just JoJo. Yeah, real talk, lessons I've learned, sometimes the hard way, and a story or two that might just make you laugh, cry, think, or all the above. So let's get into it.
Thought I'd kind of chop it up with y'all while I'm on the go, kind of jet setting with your guy, jet setting with your boy, and giving y'all kind of my everyday hustle. Because, sometimes I do hear all the time, like, hey, what does JoJo do? What is he been up to? Like, how does he support his lifestyle? How does he, do what he do? And a lot of people don't know. I've co-founded 2 different companies, from 2 South Entertainment to now 3 is 4, who we've been blessed to have plenty of clients, and that's one of the main reasons I'm heading out to Detroit, is we have been able to stretch our creativity and the limits of our creativity by being able to not only do content, but do something with the whole event, like the whole experiential event. So I think it's really cool. So proud of my team. Excited to get out there and see what it looks like. Excited to get out there and show y'all what it looks like. But once I touch down to Detroit, definitely want to chop it up with you guys about the podcast. So I'm going to see y'all when I touch down.
First of all, I want to discuss this real quick. I was planning this great content piece for you guys where I was going to vlog. Well, I was vlogging. I was going to, was supposed to be hitting 2 cities in 4 days. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So I really wanted to vlog and show you guys what I do. I always hear a lot of questions about, what does JoJo do? What has he been up to? How does he make a living? What's going on with his life? Like, what does he do? So I was trying to really create a cool vlog for you guys to see my traveling, my hustle, my grind, everything I do. The company that I've co-founded, obviously 3 is 4, and what we do and the type of clients that we have. I really wanted to show you guys that, but and I have some footage, so maybe we'll throw some footage in here. But I'm so sad and disappointed that my first leg of my trip, because once again, I told you guys I was supposed to be hitting 2 cities in 4 days. I was supposed to be on my first city right now. I was supposed to be in Detroit, and I want to how do I say this? I don't want to be mean, but I got to be real here. I need to call out American Airlines. You guys need to be better. You need to be better. I got to the airport. My flight was at 7, and my flight was delayed 30 minutes. No problem, no big deal. I'm not that much of a, oh my God, need to be there. I didn't need to be there till today, and this was yesterday. And as I waited, another 30 minutes, it gets delayed. Cool, not mad yet. Then I waited another 30 minutes, and then they switched the gate. Cool, still kind of trying to keep a level head, because that's what I've been trying to learn to do in life. I used to always kind of like go crazy and get in disarray, but I tried to keep a level head. Long story short, I'm trying to skip ahead. They ended up canceling the flight a couple hours later after pushing it back a few times. And being the guy that I am, in the team play I am, wanting to still go, I was trying to find out any which way to get to Detroit, as my 3 is 14 was able to do such a dope event that I'll get into in a little bit, that we were able to be blessed with such a dope client as well. This is why I wanted to make it. I wanted to see the turnout. I wanted to look the clients in their face and see the smiles and see what they felt about how the team did, because all I'm hearing is great feedback while not being there, which is all good. And I'll explain to you what type of event that is. But so long story short, I tried to get another flight, and it just didn't work out. They didn't have any more flights until tonight, and I just wasn't going to make the event. And, I just felt like American Airlines didn't really make it a thing to help me and try to get me there. And I get that unseen circumstances or unforeseen circumstances may have happened, but I just felt like they ignored everything, and the customer service wasn't great. So I got to tell you that I'll probably never deal with American Airlines again. You guys got to do better, man. You really, really hurt that I wasn't able to make this event. And the event I'm talking about is the BOMESI Summit, and BOMESI was a client that 3 is 4, a company that I co-founded, a company that produces this podcast. We were able to, come across this client, and BOMESI, to tell you what that is real quick, and because I do want to kind of jump into what I'm really here for, because I do want to address a couple things, but BOMESI stands for Black Owned Media Equity and Sustainability Institute, an event full of Black creators in the media space that are uplifting each other, helping each other, networking, creating resources, finding out ways for funding, all type of things. There's a bunch of panels, great dinners, just a great room to be in when you're in the media space, especially when you're Black and you're trying to figure out how to get your story out there, learning about equity of your story, learning about just everything that you need to know when you're a Black creative in the media space. Because the reality is, Black people in the media space, we are so creative and we have the best stories and we tell the best stories because a lot of them come off experience, but it's harder for us to get our stories out because we just don't end up in those rooms where there's investment, or we don't end up in those rooms where we can connect and really collaborate. So, in the past, in most of the time, 3 is 4 is hired for a lot of content and production work and media work when it comes to like coming and getting the content. And not to say that we aren't capable of doing what we have done with this. It just hasn't came to our desk. I think that we're capable of doing everything. And when it finally came to our desk, it was a great thing for our company because we were able to expand our creativity and the limits of our creativity by doing experiential work and not just content work. Yes, so experiential work is like somebody wants you to come up with the whole creative narrative of their event. They tell you what the event is, and you come up with the creative narrative, and you make sure when the people show up that everything is buttoned up to the nines. And it was our first time doing something like this, but I'm very proud of my team because they pulled it off. A lot of humps along the way. Obviously, that's how business is. Very important event, and I'm so happy my team was able to be aligned with them and be able to give them a successful event so far. It's still going on right now. So shout out to the 3 is 4 team. Amazing job. But I want to jump into something. The podcast. As I said, this is the Just JoJo segment, but the For Good podcast, we've been out for about 5 episodes now. The numbers have been amazing. First of all, I want to thank everybody that has been tuning in. The numbers have been great on all platforms, from the audio downloads all the way to the video views to Instagram. So I do want to applaud all the fan base and the support system that I have been getting. I'm elated with all the support. Like, we expected it to be a great podcast and to create a lot of impact, but for it to be creating this much impact this early and this fast, I only know that our trajectory will only go up and up, and we will only keep creating bigger and bigger impact. But I do want to talk about my last episode with my sister, Vanessa. A lot of love on that episode, obviously, a lot of nostalgia in Run's house, and I know you guys love to see me and my family together. Anytime we're together, it's like so much love, which we always appreciate. It's a blessing for sure. Listen, I'm going to let you guys know, I saw the critique, I saw the comments about the Vanessa episode and me talking over her. Y'all was killing me. Y'all was killing me. I'm not going to lie. It was like every other comment I saw it. I'm like, dang, am I that bad? But I didn't take it that way. I could have took it that way and been offended, but I took it as constructive criticism. So I do thank you guys. And that's kind of what I said to somebody that said something. I was like, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, but this will make me better as we continue this podcast. You got to take critique as almost like market research, right? Like, I'm here presenting a podcast. I want it to be a successful podcast. I want you guys to enjoy it. And I think that you guys, the listener, are very important. And I need you guys to know that I'm listening every time you guys speak. So, of course, I hear, oh, let her talk or da-da-da. And I may have defensive ways of saying, well, oh, she spoke over me and all that. But mainly I want you guys to know that I'm listening. So I didn't take any offense when I heard a lot of people saying, hey, let her talk. Oh, you're talking over, because I've seen those comments on YouTube. I've seen those comments on Instagram. I've seen those comments everywhere. I'm listening. I think that I know I know that I'm not perfect. And to be quite honest, that was probably one of the first episodes we shot, which was about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. So I was really still getting the hang of it, and I'm okay with that. I think that it's better for you guys to hear me say this than to see me say, all right, I'm not perfect. And yeah, maybe I can shut up a little bit more and let the guest speak a little bit more. I think you guys are right, in some senses. I think you guys are right. And I always want you guys to know that you're right. And it made me really think about when I sat there and I said, okay, how do I want to take this critique? I want to be better. I want to be good. I want to be great for you guys. It really made me think about me as an entrepreneur, me being a leader, me being a CEO of 2 different companies, me being a co-founder of 2 different companies. Of all the greatest leaders don't know it all, and they never tell you they know it all. Now, the great leaders know what they know, and they'll tell you what they know. But what they don't know, they'll always go listen to other people that do know. They'll always go put the people in the room with them that can tell them what the right answer is. And sometimes that's strangers. Sometimes that's somebody you know. Sometimes that's somebody just giving you criticism. So I think people need to stop taking criticism as disrespect. And first, before you get offended before taking the criticism, I think you need to look in the mirror and say, well, are they right? Is the critique right? Is it a little overboard, or is it on the nail, or is it right? And in my sense, I almost felt like, okay, I think I am a great interviewer. I think I can get better. But yes, you guys are right in some senses that, and I know that this is a flaw of me personally, that sometimes I do talk a lot and sometimes I do over talk, because me mentally, I think that somebody's done talking, and I'm so wanting to get what I have, because I get so excited when I talk. I'm a very excited talker, and I have so many thoughts in my mind that I feel like I'll lose the thought, that it's almost like my words will rush out of my head and I need to get it out. So I'm trying to get better at that. And I want you guys to know that I love the criticism. It makes me better. That was one of my replies to somebody when they were like, oh, da 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 da, talk, let her talk. And I was like, it's all good. Thank you for the criticism. Thank you for tuning in. I'll do better. Like, it makes me better. You know what I mean? The criticism. And I think that that's what makes me a good leader, is I'm always willing to listen to the people around me when I may feel like I'm right or wrong. I always need people to tell me, hey, there's another perspective, or there's a different point of view that you can see this in. And you need to be open to that as a leader. No good leader leads alone. They need to be open to criticism. They need to be open to other ideas. They need to be open to other people's voices. Leaders need to be open. That's the only way you can lead the people. Is leading the people is not being in charge. There's a difference. Being in charge is like saying, I'm in charge and you're going to do whatever I say that we're going to do. Leading is showing people the vision, where you're not going to have to force them or make them do anything, or they're going to want to do something for you, with you, beside you, because you're painting this vision to the people that this is the way. This is how we win. But the only way we win is if everybody in this team plays the proper position that gets us to that win. That's what a leader is. So sometimes a leader has to sit there and shut up. He just has to shut up and listen to the critique and hear people and say, okay, cool. How do I implement that? And how do I make sure that I'm listening and making the right call here? You know what I mean? So never hide your learning process. Let people see it. It only makes it better when you win, because they say, I saw that. I saw when he started and he was trying and he wasn't getting that many followers, or he was talking over people, or I feel like he could have did better in here, but he listened and he built and he kept on building on that. And that's why we love this person, and that's why we love this show. You got to welcome feedback. You got, like I said earlier in the episode, you have to treat criticism as market research, especially if you're an entrepreneur. In the field that I'm in, I need to be able to look at these comments and say, okay, I could easily say, oh, who cares? It's only 10 people out of 100 people saying that, and who cares? No, I care about each and every one of you. And if you feel like I could do it a little bit better, then I'm going to use that as market research to come back and be better. That 10% or that 10 people, I want you guys to come on that side of the 100 people that love the show and love how I'm approaching everyday life and love how I'm approaching my show. So I'm definitely treating it as research to come back and make sure that I'm better every time that I get on this microphone, every time I get in front of this camera. I want you to understand that this is real here. This is me, and this is me being vulnerable every chance that I can, you know. And I just want this to be a testament to I'm listening to you guys, you know. I really want you guys to know that I'm listening, because the main thing to me is that you guys know that I took your advice and I implemented it and I came back so that I can keep this community. I want to keep on building on the community. So I just want you guys to know that I'm listening. But I also want people to know I won't be perfect. Maybe even next time I won't do it perfectly. But while a lot of others are perfecting their image, I want you guys to remember the For Good podcast is about perfecting our impact. So yes, I want to look good on camera. I want to sound good. I want to make sure that the conversation is flowing well, but I want to make sure that the impact is there, because that's what For Good is about. That is what 3 is 4 is about. It's always impact. With whatever we do, our content, we like to create impact. No matter who the client is, how does it create impact for your company and your brand? When it comes to our give back, obviously we want to create impact. When it comes to all the things that we're going to be coming up and doing, I can't say everything because there's a lot of stuff on the rise with 3 is 4. It's all about impact. How do we create impact? And impact who, you say? Impact you. How do we impact the people? How do we make sure that it goes back to you and that we're helping you the best way that we can? That's what impact is about, and that's what the main thing for this podcast is. It's about, are we impacting you guys? You know what I mean? So as I perfect my image, I'm more about perfecting my impact. So remember that. I'm always about perfecting my impact. And I do want you guys to know that I'm listening. And I want you guys to continue to grow with me. I want you guys to be invested into the success of the podcast. I want you to feel like the success of the podcast is a success for you and not just for me. It's something because for me, it's more important that you guys are really learning from this podcast and really inspired through this podcast and really love watching it, because you're walking away with gems. You're walking away with life changing gems. And that's what we wanted to create this for. And that's the impact, right? That's going back to the impact we were talking about, is making sure that we have impactful thought leaders and impactful people in every different field on this podcast so that you guys can be impacted. And I know I'm using the word a lot, but it's the truth. That's kind of how we built the model, is like, hey, yeah, we can get the biggest celebrities in the world, but we're going to make sure that we're talking about the positive things and the things that inspire you guys to go out there and be positive and do the best that you guys can do. I want it to feel like it's just me and you're having a conversation with me, and I'm letting you know my thoughts throughout the week about everything and anything. And these are also going to be episodes where I'm going to be talking about my childhood stories. These are going to be episodes where I'm talking about me being a dad, me being a husband, everything going on in my life, me being an entrepreneur, me being a co-founder of 2 different companies, music and media, and also a CEO of one and a co-CEO of the other. I want this segment to be that. You know, everybody's like, what is JoJo doing? Where's JoJo? What does he do? This is where you find that out. This is where you find out what I'm doing, what I'm up to, what are my thoughts, what are JoJo's thoughts on anything and everything. So expect to see a lot more of these episodes. I hope to inspire through these episodes. I hope you guys can see my process through these episodes. I hope that you can grow with me through these episodes. I hope you can become invested in my success. I hope I can build some trust with you guys, knowing that I'm listening, knowing that I'm here, knowing that I'm real, I'm authentic. And I just want you guys, I want to grow with you guys. That's just what it is. Life's about growing. And I don't want to do that in isolation. I'm not big on isolation. You know, I'm big on teamwork, and I look at you guys like a team. My consumer, my listener, you guys are my team. And I say that because you're not just a listener. You guys are the ones that can create this impact with me. Every time I bring something impactful to the table, I expect you guys to be inspired to do as well, to invest into that impact. And I'm not meaning monetary. I mean to invest into the impact of, if you hear a special gem on this podcast that I may drop or any of my guests may drop, that you use it and you implement it into your life. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say you guys can help me move and create impact by putting out good in the world. And that's why this is called the For Good Podcast, where we focus on the good and never the bad. That's not just a line. I came up with that, like, true story. I came up with that line with the first episode, and I didn't know what I was going to say, and I just kind of let the words flow, and I started it off like that because it felt right. It felt real. It felt authentic, and it felt like that's how I felt when this podcast started. It was like, I want to focus on the good, not the bad. And I also don't want to focus on how much money somebody has or how many cars somebody has or who they're dating. Or I care about their impact. I care about what they're doing in this world for their mental health, what they're doing in this world for people around them, what they're doing in this world for people they don't know. That's all I care about. So I'm going to wrap this episode up. Obviously, a lot was discussed here. I was probably a little all over the place, but that's just me. That's my ADHD brain. I want to wrap this up with saying that I did hear you guys about the Vanessa Simmons episode. And once again, guys, I'll drop this tidbit. It was shot 1.5 years ago. I did see the comments about my sister Angela and her relationship. It was shot 1 year ago. I'm not confirming or denying nothing. I'm just letting you guys know it was shot 1 year ago. You do with that information as you please. But yeah, like I was saying, though, I just want you guys to know that I'm listening. I see the comments. I see the love. I see people are really starting to get invested and interested in this podcast. So I want to make sure that we keep it going and that I continue to listen, because as a leader, like I said, it made me think about leading when I got your criticism. I was like, I got to be a leader and not somebody that just automatically gets offended, because before I get offended, I want to be taught. I'm going to say that again. Before I get offended, I want to be taught. I don't want to be offended by somebody trying to teach me to be better. I don't want to be offended by somebody trying to tell me the truth. Now, there are situations where somebody just doesn't see your vision, and there's sometimes situations where somebody just doesn't really like you. But when you're getting constructive criticism, I always think it's important to listen, because before you get offended, get educated. You know what I mean? Before you get offended, hear somebody out. Before you get offended, look in the mirror. So before you get offended when you hear criticism or critique, don't automatically think it's somebody saying that you're not good at something. It's somebody saying you are good at this, but you could be better if you tried this. So I think that that's important for people to know. And I think it's also important for people to know that the most important leaders are the ones who admit they're still figuring it out and they don't really know everything. Those are the people you want to follow. The leader that's real, not the leader that walks in a room super cocky and thinks he knows everything. Let me tell you something. There's a difference between being cocky and being confident. Being cocky is thinking you know everything. Being confident is being prepared. I'm going to say that again. Being cocky is thinking you know everything. Being confident is being prepared. It's like a child that goes into school and is prepared for their test. They're not cocky saying they're going to get an A. They're confident knowing they're going to get an A because they studied and they're prepared. Now, the cocky kid is like the kid that's like, oh, yeah, I listened in class and I'll be fine. I'll go in and I'll get an A because I'm just good like that. Doesn't work like that. The cockiest, so like I said, there's a difference between being cocky and confident, and you want to be a confident leader. You want to be a confident enough leader to say, I don't know everything. I do need help. I do want to reach out to this person. I do want to listen. I do want to hear criticism. You must be confident. Never be cocky. I learned that in life. As a kid, a lot of people might have said I was a little bit of cocky. I might have been. Who knows? But now I'm confident. I've learned to be confident and not cocky. I've learned to listen so that now I walk with my confidence comes with knowing that I have a team, or I have people that have told me, or I have a team and people that have directed me to what they think is the best option. And you can do with that as you please, because that's life. You can take criticism as you please as well. You can either take it or not. But just know, if you fail, did you take that criticism and could it have helped you succeed quicker? Not always saying that somebody's criticism is right, but I'm saying you should always listen to it. Because if you're not growing, you're not leading. You know what I mean? So that's growth to me is, and like I said, like that's my growth. And that's why I'm proud of my growth. Me sitting here in front of you guys and talking this is like, that's the growth for me is as a younger kid, I would have took it as offense. Oh, they don't like me. Oh, I don't want to do this no more. Oh, they don't know what to talk about. I'm great at this. But as an older man and an entrepreneur that has to be a boss and a leader, I have to say, okay, are they right? Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this. Okay, how do I make this go? Okay, cool. This is what they think is this. All right, you have to weigh out everybody's options and hear everybody's perspective and point of view. You're not being a good leader if you're not giving yourself that chance. Or if you're not being a good leader if you're not giving your team that chance. There's no point of having a team if you're not giving them that chance to help you lead. A true leader always needs help being led as well. And that doesn't mean that somebody's in the front of them leading. That means that somebody's helping them lead. You want people to walk beside you, not behind you. I want you to remember that. You want people to walk beside you, not behind you, because that's what a true leader does. A leader is not in the lead. A leader is making sure that he's showing people how to lead. A leader creates other leaders, not followers. Now, you might think because he's a leader, he has followers, but those are a bunch of other leaders that can lead in other worlds and in other ways. They can also lead with that leader. There's always, it's like a basketball team. Sometimes there's the superstar doesn't have a great night and the role player steps up. He's a leader as well. He led them to a win. That is a leader. Because if you're not allowing your team to step up on the days you're not doing good, or you're not allowing your team to show you that, or if you're not confident enough in your team, and you keep on making the same mistakes, then you're gonna get the same results. You got to be confident, and you got to be able to listen to people, and you got to be able to realize what you're doing wrong, because a lot of the times people think they know what they're doing, and it's leading to the same results. You can't keep getting the same results thinking that you're doing anything right. I think also me coming on and telling you guys this is very transparent, and that's what I want this to be. This relationship with me and you guys is, I want to fail visibly. Like, I'm okay with failing in front of the world. I've failed in front of the world multiple times, so my skin is tough enough to fail visibly. I want you guys to see me fail when I do fail, because then I want you guys to see me win when I do win. Because a failure isn't a failure to me. It's only a lesson towards the next step of making the right decision. So I think failing visibly is huge. It's all about not hiding your learning process. That only builds more community to me. It only shows people that you care about what you're building. You're not just putting out a product to make money. You're not just putting out a product to gain notoriety, but you're putting out a product that you believe in, and you believe in a community that walks beside you. So you want them to know your flaws and where you can fix those flaws. I wanted to do this Just JoJo segment because when I do the interviews with people, I think they're great. I love them. I have an amazing time doing them, but it's me asking questions, and it's not really me giving you guys me. So I think this is an opportunity to give you me. I've had a lot of wins in life. I had a lot of failures in life. And I think that those can all be inspirational stories to people, because everybody fails. Everybody fails. Everybody wins. But not everybody shows it and tells you the steps you have to take, that you fail so many times before you win. You lose so many times before you win. That's the truth. You only know what a good win feels like when you know what a bad loss feels like, in my opinion. When you've lost it all so much and you've lost so many times, that win just feels so much better, in my opinion. So don't hide your learning process. You know what I mean? Let people see your process. I see this all the time with content creators, and people hold themselves back because they're just so in their head about failing. And it's like, don't worry about the failure. Do the work. Put the work out. Get the work out there. Um, deal with that later. You know what's a failure? When you don't do it. That's when you fail. You can't fail when you try. Trying is far from failing. Trying is the opposite of failing. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm just trying. Trying is doing. You're trying to do something. Trying isn't failing. What's failing is not trying at all and thinking you can't succeed, but you never even tried to succeed. So I got a challenge for everybody before I get out of here, is to listen to critique, listen to people, fail visibly, and show people your process. At work, if you're working on a deck, a presentation, show people your process. Don't be afraid to bring up your ideas. Stop being afraid to lead. That is what leading is. It's finally saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fail visibly, and I'm going to show you my process. Because if I show you my process, when you see my success, you'll remember my process. So I'm going to say that one more time. When you see my success, you'll remember my process. So show your process to your success. Most people, when they get criticism, they automatically say, well, I don't want to do this no more. They get discouraged. And it reminds me of a story that I hope can inspire you guys. So, man, when I had took my break from the industry for a while, and I became a dad and all that, and I was really down and out and really just wasn't confident in myself and super discouraged and didn't really know what I was going to do in my life. And I remember getting a call from my sister Angela asking me to come on Growing Up Hip Hop. And of course I wanted to do it for the money because I needed the money, but I wasn't gonna be like when they contacted me. I was just gonna be like a guest every now and then. I wasn't gonna be like a main character or anything. They just like, okay, we'll bring on your brother to kind of just bring some comedic relief. And I remember being like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I remember saying, I'm just gonna give it my all. I'm gonna go on there and be so authentic that they're gonna love me, and then I'm gonna pray for the best. And I don't know if I'm gonna be on this show for a long time. I don't know if they're gonna pay me for a lot of episodes, or am I gonna be on enough? And I remember going to film and just being the goofiest I can be and just being myself. And they just kept on booking me and kept on saying, we want you more episodes. And this is what I'm trying to get to. The first season that I came on, I was so discouraged. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know if I was gonna be a success. I didn't know if it was gonna work out. I didn't know if this was gonna do anything for me. And I always kind of like smile when I say this, because I have the picture actually right here near me, and it's a funny story. And I tell this story to my daughter. I tell it to everybody because it's just the testament of damn. It's this. I'm gonna tear up. It's the testament of understanding and believing in yourself. No matter if you're scared, even if you're scared, you got to do it. Because if you don't do it, you just don't know what the outcome could be. And I remember doing the show, and they did this whole photo shoot of all the main characters, and I didn't think I was gonna be on the billboard of the show, and I was such an impact that season that I didn't even make it. I didn't even go to the photo shoot to be on this billboard because I wasn't supposed to be, and they took a photo of my Instagram and put me on the billboard because that's how big of an impact I was. Here I was so discouraged, not knowing if I was going to fit into this show, if I was even going to be able to stay in the show, and they were telling me that I was a superstar on the show. It was one of the biggest moments for me. It was like a pursuit of happiness moment where it was like, wow, like I just became a dad. I wasn't making consistent money. And I felt like I made it there. and they signed me to a couple season deal, and that was just like the biggest deal for me. It was like I didn't think anybody liked me at that time, and for me to come on that show and the fans to accept me the way they did, in the network, in the show, and the producers to say that I was a star, it really helped my confidence. So I just want people to know that sometimes you just got to go do it. Even when you're scared, you just got to go do it, because if you don't, you just never know if you're going to win. You don't. Oh, shit. Fuck. Danica, you got me crying. Everybody, this your boy, Just JoJo, the For Good podcast, where we focus on the good, never the bad, where we're measured on what we do, not what we have. This is the Just JoJo segment, where it's just me, just my gems, just my stories, just my love. Love you guys. Peace.